My uncle was to drive me. I begged them not to take me, but they insisted. They were left without a choice because of what the hospital wrote. The ride there was horrific because nothing I could do could change my fate. When we arrived, I was pleading for anything but what was about to happen. My family had insisted they would try to talk to them so I wouldn't have to stay. I knew it would be futile, though. Because of that, I had given up hope and completely lost it. I tried not to panic, but it was no use. They put me in a conference room and asked me questions, random kind of questions, that I didn't understand or even know why they were asking me, or he or she were asking me. These strange, unrelated questions, especially to an autistic. Since I failed those ridiculous questions, I had to be admitted. They brought me into a room with two beds. The time in between this and the first incident is lost in my mind. At some point, I had dinner, and the events might have happened on that day, the next day, or on two separate days. Nevertheless, they did happen. The first occurred, I believe, sometime in the late afternoon, and I know the second happened at night. The first incident. I was called to a window outside of a room in the hallway of the work. They put me in medication. They put medication in and out. And I believe I was called into a window outside of a room in the hallway of the ward they put me in. They put medication out. I believe they were about to hand it to me. I looked it over and was a bit baffled. I had a few questions. One being, in hospitals, don't they usually bring the medication to the room? And why would they have a room like that with a little window? Why was this not like what I expected at a hospital inpatient for it to look like? Where was I exactly? What type of meds were they giving me and why? I simply said that I had never been in a place like this. And what kind of meds were they giving me? And what exactly was it for? I mean, was that too much to ask? Suddenly, these two huge nurses, or as I called them, because that's all I really knew, ran out of the little room and without warning tackled me onto the other room right across the hall and practically laid right on top of me. They nearly put the meds right down my throat, when suddenly I cried out, "Please, I didn't mean any harm. I was just asking," or something around those lines. They shoved the medication into my hand. I took it and, nearly choking, I had taken it. The next incident was the most horrific thing that has happened in my whole life. Maybe even worse than me being caught in the fire without a way out. I believe it was right after dinner. I was walking in the hallway and unknowingly knocked on a staff door. In the grand scheme of things, It didn't really matter what door it was by. After what happened next, anyway, I felt a sudden sense of dread, like I had already knew someone was behind me. I turned my head and I was right. The same two quote-unquote nurses were silently running towards me. They looked like they were taller than me, or so it seemed. It was no doubt these women were strong and heavy-set. Now that I go back to it, slightly possible. Now when I go back to it, it's slightly possible that they may have been men, though I doubt it. They had small but thick braids in their hair. I had no time to really react. They grabbed me. One had my arms and shoulders. One had my legs, and they carried me as if I were both a doll and a newborn baby, but of course not how you're supposed to carry them. I immediately, the moment I spotted them, I knew I was in huge trouble. I thought, not again. I then tried to plead with them as they pulled me off the ground. But no one had even answered, so I started to cry and call out for help. I wiggled out of their grasp and once again tried to explain myself, but it was futile. They once again grabbed me. I tried to get away again, and at that point, they kept intentionally dropping me until we finally reached the room at the end of the hall. They then proceeded to throw me into the middle of the room as I had no weight to me. As if I had no weight to me also. I hit the floor hard. I looked up at them and once again pleaded to them not to hurt me. I even said I have special needs and I did not intend on doing anything wrong. The two people said nothing.